Okay, hi everyone. Today I have a privilege to sit down with someone that I know from um, the school that I went to when I did my master's in public administration. His name is Mark, and he's from the Philippines. And he graduated last year, and he's been working for a while. He's been involved with a lot of great things. I will let him tell you what he's been doing and kind of introduce himself a little bit to you.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, thank you for having me here, Theory. What a way to start interviewing people from my cohort. You start from the bottom of the list and then you just go up, right? That's the but just like what Theory said. Oh, I didn't actually graduate last year. I graduated, I think this year, April. So
Okay.
still a newbie. Um, yeah, well, I'm from the Philippines. I moved to the United States 2016 to go to BYU Hawaii. I did study political science and TESOL. So it's trying to be a teacher and a political scientist at the same time, not a perfect combination. And then currently I'm the communications lead for a national nonprofit. I do a lot of stuff with the media, with the press release, and I also work for this tech company based in the Philippines. I do a lot of management work, and I am also a part-time staff member for the Provo City Council. I help with some, policy analyst work with them. So, yep, that's great experience, and yeah, such an honor to be here. And yep, that's me.
Great. So yeah, it's an honor to have you as well, and I'm excited to learn more from you tonight, especially with the questions that I'm going to ask you. And once again, just a reminder for those who are watching this video, the purpose of this interview, just to give a voice to someone and kind of share some of his experiences, as an international student, especially things that he's been through, living in a foreign country, especially going to a school that is in a different language. So what are some challenges and stuff like that? And hopefully that it will be beneficial to those of you who are listening to this, and especially hopefully that it will be something to help the future international students as well. He has a lot of great stories. I'm sure that he will share with you later today. And hopefully that it will be a great asset to all of you who are out there listening to this. Probably starting the first question, you already kind of introduced yourself and already told us where you're from. My question would be, when you said that you went to Brigham Young University in Hawaii. I would love to know, how did you learn about the school and why did you decide to go to school there?
Wow, so this is about me then. I thought we are gonna talk about QDA Theory. I thought we are gonna talk about Excel.
I wish.
Okay, so well, I started my journey into coming to the US to study. I think it started after I served my religious church service mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. My mission president, he is a graduate of BYU Hawaii, and he always try to inspire us to pursue the best education possible. And yeah, he talked about BYU Hawaii, how he met his wife there, and then that just gave me an idea of, when for those who serve their missions, we look up to our mission presidents, right? It's like, hey, I want to be like him someday. I have that same feeling back then. So yeah, get a chance to learn about BYU Hawaii. After my church service mission, I did more research. I have an auntie who also went there, like a few years before I finished my church service mission. And then I have people from my stake who also went there. So it just became more interesting because people around me are really becoming more interested in coming to BYU Hawaii. So I did my own research and felt like it's the best opportunity at that moment. And yeah, and then just it's a step of faith, and now I'm here.
That's awesome. What was the process of preparing to go over there? How was it like?
The process to go to BYU Hawaii. So after my mission, I feel like I want to teach. So I want to teach. I want to be a teacher. I I'm not sure. I think it's an automatic skill that you develop as a religious church service missionary because you teach every day 24/7, even though you're sleeping. Uh, you teach about something, and then you want it to be a part of your life because it's like something that gives you so much hope, so much confidence, so much joy. So I want to be a teacher, and I want to be a teacher. So I was planning to apply to like a local college back to where I'm from. So I live an hour north of Manila. You've been to Manila, right?
No, I haven't.
You gotta
Not
go
yet.
someday.
Yes,
I'll be
yes.
your tour guide. Yep. So went back home, planning to apply for a local college, but I also have a desire in my heart to go to BYU Hawaii. So I opened this up to my family, close relatives, and then I have an uncle who lives in Salt Lake, and we had this conversation. I was telling him, I was confused whether I should pursue an education in our local college in the Philippines, or should I pursue my dreams of going to BYU Hawaii. And he gave me this beautiful analogy, and what he said just sunk deep into my heart. Enos terms. So he told me that if celestial kingdom is available for you, why settle for a lesser kingdom?
Mm,
That's what he told me. It's like, and that made me think, BYU Hawaii is one of the best schools available for me right now. Why settle for something lesser than the best?
I like
So if you're gonna put your energy, effort into something, go for the best. So yeah, I put all my energy since then to applying and getting into BYU Hawaii. So yeah, that was it. And then yeah, I applied, same process, visa process, passport, and took the English test. That was hard. And yep, God's grace made it.
wow, that's I like something in there you said about, well, for just for the context for those who are listening and not familiar with the faith of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints,
Yeah,
celestial kingdom, probably you can compare it to a higher standard or higher
yeah.
goal
It's
you
like
have.
highest degree of heavens.
Yeah, yeah. Or like you said that your uncle advised you. It's a great advice about, oh, if you have a better option, why would you be willing to settle down for a less better option? I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's a great advice. So I'm sure that like cultures are different.
Oh yeah.
Or in a university that you have to speak a second language. I'm not sure if in the Philippines English is a second language to people over there or not, but at least like it's not your native language. So somewhat is kind of challenging, right? You learning a second language. Um, how was your experience? How was your first experience in America? What were some things that were kind of shocked you?
Well, I think yeah, language. Um, I think I know a bit of English because English is like a class that we are required to take back in high school, back in elementary in the Philippines, but they didn't really pay much attention back then. So I know like Disney Channel level of English. Like I watched a lot of Disney Channel growing up, so that's my English proficiency back then. Coming here, it's a lot of adjustments. I remember coming to the US 2016, and I think the moment I arrived in like an airport in Hawaii, and I think you kind of can relate to this, right? TSA.
Mm.
So went to the airport, and then there's like this big dude right there, and he was like, I felt like he looks mad, or or he just wants everyone to be safe, of course. Um, but yeah, he looked at me and asked me to remove my belt, remove
Mm.
my, remove my shoe. like remove some any metals I have, anything in my pocket. So I think that moment, it's like, okay, it's like this is a different country now. It's like safety is a priority here. So went in, tried to remove my shoe. I was trying to ask him, it's like, why do you want me to remove my shoe? And he said, it's for
Mm.
safety. And I told him like, keeping it, I am keeping my shoe. It's for everyone's safety, you know. It's like, no, just kidding. So I was trying to, I think that first TSA moment just made me feel like I'm in a whole new country. I am in a whole new environment. I'm not in my home right now. So yeah, so that was like my switch on moment that, this is different. I gotta be ready for what's about to happen. So yeah, so a lot of adjustments with the language, a lot of adjustments with making friends, a lot of adjustments with, improving my level of competitiveness. There's a lot of I feel like back where I'm from, people want to be successful, but it's not as competitive as here. And I know you can understand and you can attest to that. So yeah, those are some of my major and minor adjustments. But yeah, it's been a great experience. Helped me a lot to become a better person.
Mm. Then you graduated from BYU Hawaii in
Yeah,
physical science and TESOL.
yeah.
Then you went on to BYU in Provo to
Yeah.
do the graduate program in public administration. Um, why did you decide to go on and study that?
Um, I think for me, ever since I was young, family's been very much involved in government, especially local government. So I have an uncle who ran for office before. My dad used to run for office before. So ever since I was a young little kid, in my heart, I'm a public servant. Like I want to serve the people around me. I want to be of help to people around me. So that's been always my goal ever since I was young. So I graduated from BYU Hawaii March 2020, which is the spike of COVID. I was like, that was
Yeah.
like that month when like everyone's going ballistic
Mm.
about COVID.
Yeah.
So yeah, as soon as I graduated, I tried to think of the next best step to help me become that, efficient public servant in the future. And then I think for that moment, I can't go home. Borders are closed in the Philippines, even though I want to start a political career back then. So I felt like, you know, doing some minor cost benefit analysis. What are the costs? What are the benefits? I feel like the best option for me is to go to BYU Provo and, get my master's in public administration. And I think that was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
That's awesome. Was there any adjustments that you had to make as well? Well, I assume that since you already got a bachelor from BYU Hawaii,
Yeah,
you already earned a bachelor in the States, so it wouldn't be much a jump for you, or was it some of the things that you also have to adjust as well?
oh, it is an adjustment. Like I feel like Hawaii is a different country than Utah. It's like, same state, same US state, but there's a lot of differences. In Laia, we're like in this small bubble, and
Mm.
then like living in Salt Lake, Provo, in the Salt Lake and Provo area, it feels like a whole new different planet than what am I accustomed to in Laia. So I think some of the major adjustments. First thing, I feel like the the weather. The weather is
Mhm.
different. Like Philippines to Hawaii, kind of similar temperature, but Hawaii to Utah, especially the winter, it's like 0 to 100 difference. That is a big difference, really major difference for me. So that is an adjustment, getting accustomed to the weather, and yeah, and BYU Hawaii to BYU Provo, I feel like you won't be able to know the difference unless you go to two different schools, to
Mm.
these two different schools. But the level of competition is different. Like BYU Hawaii, I think they are really very considerate and helping you adjust to the language. They have this English for International Language program, helping you get adjusted, get accustomed to the culture. But BYU Provo, it's like 150 miles per hour driving in the freeway. It's like we expect you to come here as a professional, as
Mm,
someone who is ready for the challenges of the MPA program. So yeah, it's a lot more challenging. It's a lot more competitive. It's a lot more and there's a lot more growth in the BYU MPA compared to BYU Hawaii. Well, I grew up a lot in BYU Hawaii, but BYU MPA it's a different beast.
mm.
Intellectually, everything.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess you said more challenging in a ways like intellectually or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hmm. Um what about, as an international student, how did you feel like being in the program?
Well, I think as an international student in the program, BYU Hawaii, it's like mostly international students. But in the BYU MPA program, you're like one of five, six, seven, eight. One of the very few international students. So um, it's different. I think coming to the BYU MPA program, you need to have that change of mentality. So it was tough, but the BYU MPA has been very nice. Program director, he tried to accommodate what we need. Tanya's been the best. She's an angel. Um, yeah, and my team, I think the BYMPA program, it's very centered on building stronger and better teams. So I was blessed to be in it. I was blessed to have good teammates who, who trust me, who believe in me, and we have a good chemistry together. So I think I was blessed to be in that situation. So overall, I think that adjustment was smooth. That was good. Yep.
Let's go. Were there any times that you felt like you were not included?
Um, Times that you're not included. So I had this friend of mine who was an international student before, and I was asking him for advice before I moved to the United States from the Philippines. I was asking him. So I was asking him for advice, and he mentioned that if you're gonna go to if you're gonna study in the United States, and if you're gonna expect racism to happen, you'll see it in everything. Like you'll see it in every action of the people around you. You'll see it in every word they say. But if that's what happens if you expect something like that to happen. So yeah, it does happen. I think not being included it will happen. I think we've read that book in Professor Thompson's class, how to be an anti-racist.
Mhm.
And there's no such thing as a non-racist. It's either you're a racist or and forgot Professor Thompson will be mad. Yeah, so something like that. But there's a lot of factors that contribute to it. But if you expect it, you'll see it in everything. So I was trying to, I was trying to be more patient. I was trying to understand more that people here are different than what I'm accustomed to seeing, what I'm accustomed to being around with. And yeah, I just took that as a challenge. Right? If I don't feel included somehow at all, I'm gonna do everything in my power to be included in that conversation. I
Mm,
think it's really important to have that, to see everything as a challenge and as an opportunity to grow and as an opportunity to level up and become better. So
mm,
yeah, it does happen, but it's your choice if you're gonna help it boost you to become a better person. And of course those things has to be noticed by the administration, but it's a great experience, and I used it as a way to become better. So I think you can look at it at different ways.
mm. To have a positive attitude, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
great mindset.
yeah, a growth mindset, right? I feel like Dean Major, she talks a lot about that, fixing growth mindset.
Yeah.
Um,
And this is juice. It's not alcohol. I just love my champagne bottle. It's fancy.
um, I like that. I like something that I took away from what you just shared, that if you feel like you're not included, probably be an initiator to include yourself.
Mm.
Then probably the situation will change, right? I like that. So, like you said, there were times that you felt like that. And
Yeah.
obviously, whenever you felt like that, you had some like ideas in mind that, oh, I wish that they could have done this better. Were there
Mm.
any things that you think that, oh, I wish that the school or the program should have done it better in that
Well,
aspect?
yeah, there's a lot of things that the program could done better. Of course, we're all a work in progress when it comes to this issue. But again, for me, I always start with that person in front of the mirror, which is me. I always start with how can I make adjustments. I love it. I love making adjustments. I love adapting to the culture and to the environment around me. I think what could help us become better in adapting is I think for me personally, if I see more professors who look like me,
Mm,
that could have been because I think seeing someone who looks like you, who's been to the same who's been to the same excruciating process that you went through, and someone who understands how you truly feels, and seeing them succeed and being at that high level of being a professor, of being an administrator, of being a teacher. I think those type of moments, whenever I see someone teaches a class that looks like me, gives me a lot of confidence and hope that I can be like that someday. That no matter what, I could I could become like that someday. So yeah, that's it. But other than that, I think the program has been very um it's been filled with a lot of angels, a lot of kind people, a lot of prayer, a lot of revelation goes into the process of helping international students. I've been in those meetings before, and I think yeah, it's been think if yeah one of if there's like one things I could change, I will have more international professors, even
mm,
though just visiting professors.
mhm, mhm. Um, that's good. You graduated. So what were some things like skill sets or values that you feel like the MPA program instilled in you?
Um, some of the skills. I think the first skill is the ability to focus. It's not a class in the program. It's just something you developed as you go through the program. Because I think I'm very grateful that I went to the program during that time of COVID, during that time when there's like a lot of distractions outside me, a lot of doubts, a lot of fears, a lot of unknowns going on. But being able to silence all those loud noises and be able to your QDA and be able to focus in that QDA assignment in front of you and
Yeah.
being able to study, read that Rosenblum text that you need to read. And I think that ability to have that laser type focus regardless of what's happening around you, that is a skill that I am very grateful that I have right now, because the world just keeps on getting louder. And
Yeah.
if you're not focused enough, you'll be distracted a lot. And other skills, communication skills, being able to express myself in a way that, becoming a better storyteller, the ability to analyze problems, the ability to make decisions, make wise decisions, the ability to, you know, the ability to build relationships, stronger teams. Again, that's the very center of the program is how do you build better relationship with people in your teams, whether you have same or different values. Those are skills that I know I will bring to wherever life takes me in the future.
Great skills. I can second witness to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the skills I got out from the program.
Here is the master of all those skills, by the way. So
Yeah, yeah. And I like the value that the school has about service, serving people,
service, yeah, yeah.
and the mindset of, taking whatever you learned in school or in class and then bring it forward by using it to serve others. So I really like that mindset, or at least the value, right? And I feel like it's a great value to have. Um, so after you graduated, you know, the next step would be finding a job. And so I'm
Yeah.
like, tell me a little bit more about that. What was it like for you?
The process of finding a job, it is very frustrating. I think it gets frustrating, but it's also very, I think finding a job is that first major test in the MPA program. The first very big test. I know we have a lot of quizzes and exams in the program, but that big test that requires all the skills you learn in the program will be needed and required for applying a job. Organizational behavior, communications, QDA, all those skills are required to be able to become an efficient job finder. I think I only have two rules when I was looking for a job. Number one was to trust Tanya,
Mhm.
seek Tanya, ask her for help. And rule number two is never forget rule number one. Because Tanya knows it all. Tanya knows it all. She's like one of the kindest people ever. And, just trusted whatever she tries to, every advice she tries to give us, just try to trust and believe in that and just put in the work, put in the effort. And just having the mentality that every denial is an opportunity to grow. I think
Mhm.
that's important when you're searching for a job. Because if you're always, because I think one thing that I developed when I was looking for a job, and of course got rejected multiple $100 million times, being rejected a lot of times, is like every failure could be a one step up closer to your goal.
Mhm.
It's not a step backward. You can always see it as a one step up. So I always, every time I get rejected to a job application, I always try to evaluate myself. Okay, where did I go wrong here? And it will require a lot of humility to, like, changing your habits, asking people for advice. How can I change this? What could I have done better here? And then just making those adjustments. And I think once you overcome that fear of asking people for help and overcome that fear of failure, I think you will always come out a better person in that experience. So yeah, rule number one, trust Tanya. Rule number two, always believe in rule number one.
Mm. Okay. That's great. What would be the advice you would give to international students who are considering of coming to the US or to the MPA program specifically?
Well, first of all, the MPA program is a very challenging program. Like I've talked to people, and then especially those, I have friends who told me like, I want to go to the MPA program because it's an easy program. It's like heck no. It's like an easy program. You want to go to the BYU MPA program because it's an easy program. So that means my definition of easy is probably broken. It's like, I don't know which part is easy here. It's like probably the easiest part is walking to the Tanner building, but but it is not an easy program. It will require a lot of hard work. It will require a lot of faith in yourself, faith in Jesus Christ, faith in someone bigger than you.
Mm.
It will require a lot of work, but if you are humble enough, and if you work so hard that people will notice that you're working so hard, you will be rewarded in the end, I think. put in the work, put in the faith, put in the effort, and it always work out, you know. So yeah, that's the thing. A lot of experiences in the program helped me become a better person, helped me to become the Mark I am today. But you know,
Mhm.
it's hard to describe those programs because you need to be, I think we understand this because we've been through there, but it's hard to describe how hard and how fun and how, you know, it's the mixture of both the program is. You have to go through it to have a more vivid description of what it is. But
Mhm.
it's like it's a very great fruit that I would love people to taste. The BYMPA program, it's, you know, it's the best.
Yeah, yeah. It's it's doable.
It
Um,
is doable, yeah.
yeah, it's hard, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible, but it is doable. And I would say sometimes I would say it's not hard, but I feel like it's more refining.
It is refining. Yeah.
Is what I would use the word for.
How
Um,
was your experience in the program? Oh, sorry,
uh,
this is your show.
it was very tough. You know, it took me a long time to adjust.
Because you, where did you do your bachelor's again? Did you
So
do it in
I
the US?
I did my bachelor back in Cambodia in
Wow,
like it's
respect.
kind of like TESOL in a way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you know, I got my bachelor in Cambodia. The education system, curriculum, and everything is completely different. So when I first came here, I feel like I jumped from like 10 to 100, which is a lot of stretch, very stressful.
It is stressful, yeah.
I am glad that I did not give up. Um, that back then I had to say a lot of prayers and rethink because I'm glad that one of the skill set I had was giving up is not a thing in my
Yeah.
dictionary. So before I wanted to give up something, I had to sit down and rethink about it first. Is it worth it, you know? And back then I feel like I have come this far, not just come this far. I come this far to just to accomplish what I set my mind to do. So yeah, it required a lot of work, you know. But kind of like we mentioned earlier about growth mindset, I had to train myself to be positive and to have a growth mindset. You know, it's not a fixed mindset. I feel like
Right.
if someone who has a higher power than me trusted me that I can do this, why wouldn't I trust myself that I can do it? So
That
that's
is
kind
good.
of mindset that I had back then. Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, it's really refining. After you done the program, you feel like you became a better person.
It's like you can conquer the world, right? So
Than you were like 2 years ago before you started the program. Yeah. Yeah, it was great. Um, and you know, probably of last few questions I would have for you. One, you kind of talk about your experience in the program, in school, about your process of finding a job and how those skill sets help you in your job after graduation, and stuff like that. Probably a last few questions would be, one is I'm just curious to know, you know, like how we come here to America, we some sort of like assimilated my ourselves into a this that they call American dream.
yeah, yeah.
Um, tell me about that, just your experience.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I don't know, my definition, I think just based from reading and watching TV shows, American Dream is the, you know, it's that vision, that belief that you can succeed in this country, no matter where you're from, which background, or no matter who you are or what you are, you know. So I think, you know, that American dream, that gives people here a lot of hope. even though us as international students coming here, knowing that it's a fair play for all. It might not be always fair, but it's the belief that it could be fair and it should be fair. I think that is very important, knowing that, we all start at the same level. And if we put on the hard work and we never give up, just like what you always say, we could achieve success and could be the best version of ourselves. I think we all have that version in our own countries. You can call it the Filipino dream, the Cambodian dream, but it's that grit. I think having that grit, having that growth mindset, yeah, it's having that dedication to succeed no matter what. So I don't know if that's a wrong definition, but if that's wrong, please correct me. But that have
Well,
helped me a
it's your
lot.
definition, everyone is different regarding of things that you think about stuff.
Yeah.
What does success look like to you?
For me, success, I always love I'm a big Michael Jordan fan. Like my friends know this. I'm a sneakerhead. I have a lot of Jordans.
Mm,
uh, but success for me is coming from Michael Jordan. Is he said one time, I can accept failure, but I cannot accept not trying.
mm,
So for me, success is having the ability to see failure as an opportunity to grow, to level up. It's that, losing the fear of failure. I feel like if we don't fear failing and if we don't fear going down a little bit and, being humbled, if we don't fear all those things, we could achieve way more in life. So I think for me, success is just seeing everything as an opportunity to grow and become better. I think once you have that mentality, that is success for me.
mm,
Not being able to worry about what others think about me, not not worrying about failing because I know I put in the effort, give my best. If it didn't work out, I'm gonna do better next time. I'm gonna evaluate myself. I think for me that is success.
mm. I like that. Success is seeing it as an opportunity for you to grow and become better. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I like that. Um, what are some practices you adopt when you face hard times?
When you face hard times, I think for me, number one, you pray.
Mm,
I think same with you. There is a power in kneeling down in prayer and asking God for help. Another practice for me is I really try my best to really take care of my body, like getting getting sleep, getting the exercise I need. I think it's a very underrated way of becoming successful. I think like we used to watch a lot of podcasts that if you want to be successful, you have to not sleep and you have to not take care of your body and not eat healthy. You just eat what's available. But I think um, during challenging times, you need to take care of your body even more. And I also love to play sports. I think you need to be active. You need to have an outlet, um, where you can put in where you can put all those negative emotions you have, whether it's basketball, pickleball, volleyball, and serving people. I think serving people is always a great opportunity when you struggle, and it's an opportunity to see that other people struggle as well, and sometimes their struggle are more challenging than yours. And
mm,
you tend to develop this empathy, and you tend to be more empathetic. You tend to become a kinder, and when you become kinder, you always become better.
mm, I like that. Just to what some things that kind of the takeaways for me from that would be for you in order to face hard time because you
Yeah,
can like in a battle, right? In a war.
yeah, yeah,
So then if you in a war, if you want to win the war, you make sure that your spiritual and physical strengths are strong, right? They're strengthened.
yeah,
and kind of like you said, probably underrated a little bit. But if you think about it, yeah, when you go fight in a war, you need to be healthy. If you're not, your body is not healthy, your mind is not healthy, probably you're not going to be able to come up with ideas to strategize yourself to win that. And I like how you said that while you are struggling, reaching out to other people to serve them, then you realize that your problems might not that big of a problem. I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think just to add to that, like as international students, we're already at a disadvantage, like language wise, culture wise, we're at a disadvantage. So if we're not ready spiritually, mentally, emotionally, like we're gonna be at a more disadvantage. So we got to give ourselves a chance to succeed. You know, you don't show up in class with like 2 hours of sleep and ate all Doritos and Mountain Dew. You know,
Right. Then you just
well, I
yourself
did that
all
a
day.
lot. Yeah, it's you know, you just don't show up in a war without any armor at all, right?
Exactly. You can be like that, right?
Yeah.
Any last words?
Any last words? Again, just grateful to be here, grateful to share my experience. I think, you know, the program is the BYU MPA program changed my life, made me a better person, made me a better communicator, made me a better Mark, and I know it will change your lives too. Give it a try. It's gonna be hard, but it's a good hard. It's a fun hard. You're gonna meet people that you're gonna call your best friends and your close friends, and or just a normal friend, but you're gonna build relationships that will help you move up in life. And it's just, you know, enjoy the ride. It's a great program, but put in a lot of work. Put in a lot of work. Put in a lot of effort. Pray to God, and when you feel that you're better and when you feel that you're doing better, try to look for other people struggling and lift them up. And through that, you will have a great experience in the program.
Wow. Thank you. That is powerful. Work hard, work smart, but have fun at the same time. That's awesome.
And help others.
Yeah, and help others as well along the journey, right? You can be successful alone if the rest of the people are not successful, because you're not living in an island. You live in a world that surrounds yourself.
That's an island. Amen. Amen. Theory.
Thank you so much, Mark, for
You.
running me the time. And I am grateful with all the things that you have shared. I learned a lot from you today, and
I'll send you an invoice of how much. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
But yeah, thank you so much, and hopefully that this will be beneficial to the rest of the people who will be listening to this, because I learned a lot from you and grateful for that. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Well, let me know if I can do anything to help. You're the best.
Thanks. The same with you.